Independent contractors, in my experience, tend to be a problem with regard to a number of key areas. Firstly, there seems to be a problem with risk assessments generally. The amounts of incidents and accidents and investigations that we deal with that show that there were generic risk assessments which didn't really cover what was actually happening on site. Generic risk assessments are good servants, but they're bad masters. They really ought to be considered quite carefully depending upon the risk that you have, and to make sure that you don't over-rely on them. Method statements seem to also cause problems in that there is a lack often of sharing information between the client and the contractor, which leads to a method statement which has been agreed. Permits to work are often used, but these days with an increase towards personal liability, can I just suggest that if you are someone who signs the permits to work, make sure you know what you're signing, make sure that you know where that's happening, make sure that you have got it nailed down, and that you don't just sign the permit willy-nilly and allow them to go off and do whatever you think they're going to do, because a lack of supervision in those areas can be quite expensive for you personally. This year has seen a record number of personal prosecutions and also a record number of terms of imprisonment being served. So I should just be a little bit concerned about that if I was signing permits to work, to make sure that your name is to something which you really understand what they're doing and that you've ticked all the boxes. Ladies, forgive the football analogy, but with contractors, you ought to have a system where if they're not doing what you say, then you ought to at least show them a yellow card, and if it's a really serious offence, then put them off site and give them a red card and don't let them back until such time as they're going to do what they agreed to do in the first place, and in the way they agreed to do it. If you see what I mean. This is one from a prosecution file. Didn't have to go much further than just to show the photograph. Risk is a two-way street. You have to ask yourself, with contractors, what risks are they bringing to your site? Do you fully understand? If you could have done it yourself, you may not have got them in. So what are they doing that you need to know about, and what information are you sharing? The reverse is the case, of course. You need to ask yourself, what risks are there on site that they might not know about, that you need to communicate to them? Because that is a common failing. Information on the risks need to be incorporated into the risk assessments and the method statements. And I know that previous speakers said that we don't want to get overburdened with documentation, and I do agree. But the problem is, when something goes wrong in this area, the first thing you'll be asked for is the risk assessment, the safe system of work, the method statement, and when you can't produce it, I suspect that the previous gentleman speaking will not be there to assist you by saying, well, we're happy for you to spend it all alone.